Good day everyone. Today, this is the group 4 who will be discussing the virtue ethics, focusing on Confucianism, Buddhism, and the theory of justice. These traditions shows us that ethics is not only about rules or results, but about building good character and creating fairness in society. So at the end of discussion, we will be able to learn these 44 objectives. First one is define virtue ethics and distinguish it from rule-based or consequence-based moral frameworks. Second, compare and contrast the core virtues of Confucianism, which is Ren, and Buddhism, which is Silo and compassion. Third one is analyze the theory of justice as a modern evolution of societal virtue. Fourth one is evaluate how personal character influence ethical decision making in real world scenarios. So, in introduction to virtue ethics. Virtue ethics is one of the three major approaches in normative ethics. Unlike deontology, duty, rules, or utilitarianism, which is outcomes. In virtue ethics, it emphasizes the role of character and virtue in moral philosophy. Let's take a good example of this. At the heart of virtue ethics is the idea that a good life is lived by practicing excellence in character. Another one. Virtue ethics is about asking what kind of person should I be. For example, instead of just following rules or thinking about results, it focuses on character. A student would choose honesty, a friend who shows compassion, or someone who acts with courage. These are examples of living with virtue. The idea is that practicing these good traits every day leads to a truly good life.
Everyone, today I will be discussing one of the core philosophies in the world, which is Confucianism. Confucianism was developed by Confucius, who lived from 551 to 479 BCE in ancient China. This philosophy started during the time of chaos and social disorder, known as the Spring and Autumn period. Because of this situation, Confucius wanted to restore peace and order in society. He believes that the key to a peaceful society is not through strict laws and punishments, but through good behavior, respect, and strong relationships among people. One of important idea in Confucianism is called ethics of relationships. This means that person's character or virtue is not developed alone. Instead, it is formed through our interaction with others, such as with our family, friends, and community. In simple terms, how we treat others helps shape who we are. Other important concept is Li, which refers to proper behavior, manners, and rituals. These include showing respect to elders, being polite, and following traditions. According to Confucius, practicing Li helps maintain harmony in society. Now, one of the most important virtues in Confucianism is Ren, which means benevolence and humanness. This is considered the highest virtue. It means being kind, compassionate, and caring toward others. A person who practices Ren becomes what Confucius calls a Junzi, or refined and morally good person. This is kind of person always try to do what is right and treats others with respect and kindness. To summarize, Confucianism teaches us that good relationship builds a good society, and respect and proper behavior are important. And the last is kind and humanity, or Ren, is the highest virtue. In today's world, we can still apply Confucianism by respecting others, helping those in need, and building strong and positive relationships. And that's all. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Now, let's proceed to the second one, which is the Filia Fati or Shao. Virtue begins in the family. Respecting parents and ancestors is the foundation of the moral society. Filia Fati is the idea that being a good person starts at home with your family. In Confucianism, it means showing deep respect, love, and care for your parents, grandparents, and ancestors. The belief is that if you learn how to be respectful and obedient to your elders at home, you will naturally become a kind and responsible member of society. It treats the family as a training ground for all other virtues, suggesting that you cannot truly care for a stranger if you do not care first for those who gave you life. Example: imagine a young adult who gets a job promotion and a raise. Instead of spending all the money on themselves, they first set aside a portion to help their aging parents with medical bills or to improve their living condition. This is an example of Filia Piety because the person is recognizing their lifelong debt to their parents and choosing to honor them through actions. It shows that their success is not just for themselves, but a way to support and give back to the foundation of their life or their family. And the last one is the golden rule. Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. The golden rule in Confucianism is a guide for how to treat other people fairly. It is often called the silver rule. It asks you to use your own feelings as a guide for your behavior. If you know that being lied to or stolen from would make you feel hurt or angry, then you have a moral duty not to lie to or steal from anyone else. It is a simple way to practice empathy every day. For example, think of a student who sees a classmate sitting alone and being teased by others. The student remembers how lonely they felt when they were the new kid at the different school. So, they decided not to join in teasing. Instead, they go over and sit with the classmate. This explains the golden rule because the student used their own past pain to decide how to act by choosing not to participate in behavior they once hated experiencing. They are practicing the virtue of fairness. Now, let's proceed to the second one, which is the Buddhism, the ethics of mental discipline. Founded by Siddhartha Gautama 563 to 483 BCE. Siddhartha Gautama was a prince who left his comfortable life to understand human suffering. After achieving enlightenment, he taught ways to end suffering. Buddhist ethics are inseparable from the path to enlightenment. Virtue is a tool to end suffering or dukkha. In Buddhism, being virtuous is not just about following rules. It is about training your mind to be calm and kind. The goal is to reach enlightenment and stop suffering. Buddhists believe that bad action like lying, killing, or being greedy come from a messy or sick mind. By practicing mental discipline, you learn to let go of anger and selfishness. Virtue is like a medicine that cleans the mind, helping you act with compassion toward all living things because you understand that everyone is trying to escape pain just like you. For example, suppose someone is stuck in a long traffic jam and another driver cuts them off rudely. Instead of screaming or chasing the other car in anger, the person takes a deep breath and realizes the other driver might be having a stressful day or an emergency. By choosing to stay calm and not react with hate, the person is practicing mental discipline. This is a Buddhist example of virtue because the person controlled their inner fire or anger to prevent more suffering, showing that a disciplined mind leads to a peaceful life.
Ngayon naman ay hihimayin natin ang tatlong mahalagang turo ng Buddhism na gabay sa tamang pamumuhay. Ang sila, ang Four Immeasurables at ang Middle Way. Ang layunin ng mga ito ay hindi lang basta sumunod sa utos, kundi ang linisin ng ating isipan at bawasan ng paghihirap sa mundo. Una ay sila o ethical conduct. Based on the principle of non-harming or ahimsa, it involves right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Ang sila ay ang pundasyon ng ating moralidad. Nakabase ito sa prinsipyo ng ahimsa o non-harming. Ibig sabihin, ang lahat ng ating iniisip, sinasalita, at ginagawa ay dapat hindi nakakasakit sa ibang nilalang. Binubuo ito ng right speech, tamang pananalita, right action, tamang asal, at right livelihood o tamang hanap buhay. Halimbawang sitwasyon nito ay may narinig kang chismis tungkol sa isang kaibigan na alam mong makakasira sa reputasyon niya. Ang aplikasyon, sa halip na ikwento ito sa iba na labag sa right speech, pipiliin mong manahimik o itama ang mali. Pinoprotektahan mo ang iyong kaibigan at ang sarili mo mula sa paggawa ng negatibong aksyon. Pangalawa, the Four Immeasurables. The Four Immeasurables, loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity. Ibig sabihin, ang Four Immeasurables naman ay ang apat na dakilang emosyon na dapat nating palaguin sa ating puso. Kasama rito ang loving kindness, pagmamahal ng walang kapalit, compassion, awa sa naghihirap, empathetic joy, pagkatuwa sa tagumpay ng iba, at equanimity o pagiging kalmado o pantay na pagtingin sa lahat. Halimbawa, ang iyong rival o kakompetensya sa klase ang nakakuha ng pinakamataas na grado. Aplikasyon nito, sa halip na makaramdam ng inggit, ipapakita mo ang empathetic joy sa pamamagitan ng pagbati sa kanya ng tapat. Ipinapakita nito na ang iyong kaligayahan ay hindi nakadepende sa pagbagsak ng iba. At ikatlo, the middle way. The middle way or the virtue is found in balance, avoiding the extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification. Ibig sabihin, ang middle way ay ang paghahanap ng balanse. Itinuturo nito na ang labis na pagpapakasasa sa sarap o self-indulgence at ang labis na pagpapahirap sa sarili o self-mortification ay parehong mali. Ang tunay na karunungan ay nasa gitna, yung sapat lang, disiplinado pero hindi rin pinababayaan ang sarili. Halimbawa, panahon ng final exams at kailangan mong mag-review. Ang aplikasyon, huwag magpuyat ng todo na hindi kumakain o extreme self-mortification. Pero huwag din puro laro lang at hindi magbuklat ng libro o extreme self-indulgence. Ang middle way ay ang pag-aaral ng mabuti habang binibigyan ng katawan ng tamang pahinga para manatiling malinaw ang isip. Sa pagtatapos, sa conclusion o control of thoughts, true virtue involves not only actions but also controlling thoughts and emotions. Ibig sabihin, ang tunay na virtue o virtud ay hindi lang nakikita sa panlabas na kilos. Nagsisimula ito sa pagkontrol ng ating isip at emosyon. Kapag kontrolado mo ang iyong isip, kontrolado mo rin ang iyong reaksyon sa mundo. Halimbawa, isipin niyo ang isang tao na nilait o ininsulto sa harap ng marami. Ang taong may kontrol sa isip ay pipiliing manatiling kalmado sa halip na makipag-away. Bakit? Dahil alam niyang ang galit ay magdadala lang ng higit na dukha o paghihirap. Ang pagpili sa kapayapaan ay ang pinakamataas na anyo ng disiplina at compassion.
Number 3. Theory of Justice by John Rawls. Developed by John Rawls 1921 to 2002. Rawls introduced his ideas in his book, A Theory of Justice, in 1971. He wanted to create a fair system where everyone is treated equally. While often categorized under political philosophy, Rawls' theory functioned as a virtue of institutions. He argues that a just society is the highest expression of collective virtue. Ang theory of justice ni John Rawls ay tumutukoy sa paggawa ng isang lipunan na patas para sa lahat. Ipinapakita niya ito sa kanyang aklat na A Theory of Justice noong 1971. Para kay Rawls, ang tunay na katarungan ay hindi lang sa ugali ng tao nakikita, kundi pati sa batas at sistema ng isang bansa. Ibig sabihin, ang isang lipunan ay maituturing na mabuti kung ang institusyon nito ay patas sa lahat ng mamamayan. The original position, a hypothetical scenario where we design a society without knowing our place in it. Una ay ang original position, kung saan iniisip natin na gagawa tayo ng mga batas ng lipunan nang hindi natin alam kung ano ang magiging kalagayan natin dito. Pangalawa, the veil of ignorance. Making decisions without knowing your own race, gender, or wealth ensures that the resulting rules are fair to all. Pangalawa ay ang veil of ignorance, na nangangahulugang hindi natin alam kung tayo ba ay mayaman o mahirap, lalaki o babae, o anong katayuan natin sa buhay. Dahil dito, mapipilitan tayong gumawa ng mga patakaran na patas para sa lahat. Pangatlo, the difference principle. Social and economic inequalities are only permitted if they benefit the least advantaged members of society. At ang panghuli naman ay ang difference principle na nagsasabing ang hindi pagkakapantay-pantay sa lipunan ay pwede lamang kung ito ay makakatulong sa mga pinakanangangailangan o mahirap. Virtue is not only personal, it can also exist in laws, institutions, and systems. Example, the government provide free education for all poor students. Why this example fits? This follows the difference principle because it benefits those who are less advantaged, showing fairness and justice. Halimbawa nito ay kapag ang gobyerno ay nagbibigay ng libreng edukasyon para sa mga mahihirap na estudyante. Ang halimbawang ito ay akma sa difference principle dahil tinutulungan nito ang mga taong may kapos sa buhay. Sa ganitong paraan, nagiging mas patas ang oportunidad para sa lahat, lalo na sa mga hindi gaanong pinalad. Ipinapakita nito na ang katarungan ay hindi lamang tungkol sa pagkakapantay-pantay, kundi sa pagbibigay ng mas malaking tulong sa mga nangangailangan.
The next topic is ethical decision making. It is the process of choosing what is right or wrong based on moral principles, values, and reasoning. It means you just don't decide based on what is easy or beneficial to you. You consider how your actions affect others, whether it is fair, and if it aligns with what is morally good. Like for example, sa isang online quiz. May isang bata doon or isang estudyante na nakahanap ng sagot doon sa test nila online. Doon papasok yung ethical decision making. Kasi iisipin niya muna na pag kinopya niya ba yung nakita niyang sagot, fair ba yun sa iba? Or naging honest ba siya? Tapos, iisipin niya rin kung ano yung magiging consequences niya pag nag-cheat siya. In simple terms, ethical decision making is thinking carefully about your choices and doing what is right, not just what is convenient.